Before it became our latest flip project, this Provo condo was my husband Greg's bachelor pad. And I'm not kidding when I say he used to sleep in a tiny room in the back of the garage with no windows, just to save money. Then, after we got married, it became our first home as newlyweds. When we moved out, we started renting it out. But now we're back with a new plan to give it a high-end, budget-friendly makeover to see if we can get higher rent. I just flew into town to do an extreme makeover on our rental kitchen. It's kind of small, but we plan to do a drastic makeover. I have almost no plan ahead of time and very little time to accomplish this. But by the end of this episode, I will have hopefully pulled it off. Cross your fingers, and in the meantime, let's get started. So we've got the countertop people coming in just a short bit. What we're gonna have them do is, I asked them when I was buying the granite countertops if they are able to just cut this off for me, because I don't have the tools. I really don't have the time with everything that else I have to do. So they're gonna take care of that for me. I've got electrical right on the inside of here, 3 things. What I need to do is shut off the power, disconnect those receptacles, shove the wires down a little bit, and then once they remove the countertops, we will go about putting them other places. I was thinking maybe putting one of the plugs over here and then the other 2 outlets up there. So we are gonna be ripping out all the countertops for the kitchen. I'm gonna have no sink in the kitchen, and then this is where all of the action starts to happen. It's gonna get really messy, really ugly temporarily before it gets beautiful. This is the storm before the calm. So, but I'm so excited. So I was able to find somebody who was able to do my countertops in such a short amount of time, which was a huge win, because everybody I was calling was 2 to 3 weeks out. I don't have 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm really grateful that they are going to be coming the very next day. So it's super, super exciting. So let's take care of the electrical right now. They are right on time, but I'm not. I'm running behind. I still haven't pulled out the electrical, so I'm gonna do that really quick while they work on the bathroom. So the first thing I need to do is shut off the power. So we're going out here to find the electrical box. The electrical box is not in here. I think it's in the laundry room. Okay, let's see. Kitchen. Microwave, fridge, kitchen lights, washer. Let's try this one. Kitchen GFI. All right, let's test. Okay, this was lit up and now it's not, so that means it's not working. Another easy way is to turn this on. This is the garbage disposal, not working. Over here, we'll just double check. There we go, it's not lighting up. We are good to cut the power.
Whoa, why did she go?
Gonna try to shove these in, but it's not a very big hole, so I might need them to rip these countertops off first. Got it? Is that it? No, that's gonna be in there. Yeah, that's not coming off, is it? Oh, it's nailed? Right, I'm trying to rip off the drywall so that I can access this right here, so. There we go. Now I can access it. Hallelujah. Ow. Let's try not to break it out. Stay tuned for a minute because I'm going to share with you something that is going to absolutely blow your mind. It's so easy to do and you're gonna be like, I should have done this forever ago. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so over here, obviously we're gonna have to replace some drywall, but we're gonna damage the drywall a little bit more anyways because we gotta run the electrical that we got rid of. Up here, I'm gonna remove this because nobody uses the phone jack anymore, and we'll commandeer this spot for one of them, and then right next to it we'll cut a bigger hole and we will put the other electrical. So I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do that. It probably will involve me damaging more drywall, which is fine because we're gonna have to do some drywall work there anyway. Goodness, wasn't that crazy? I am so glad that I hired them out. I'm so excited about them doing the countertops. Maybe this is a project that I would have taken on myself, but A, I have so much to do in this entirety of the condo. B, I don't have my tools that I would need to do that with here in Utah. And so it just made sense. What we're gonna do is we are going to take this one, which was just a plug-in outlet, and I'll take this wire out of this box. We're gonna move it right here. And as for this one right here, this is the one that controls the garbage disposal. So I'm not quite sure if I'll just do a switch inside here or if I'm gonna try to move it over here. I thought about pulling this through over here and putting another plug on the outside over here. Does this not just open up this kitchen and make it feel so much bigger? This is a very small kitchen. It really is, and you can see over there, this is gonna just be, it gives so much more functional, usable counter space in a space where there was like hardly any counter space. So this is gonna be fantastic. And so we'll just go ahead and pull all these out and replace them with stainless steel. We're gonna head out shopping for those. When we get back from shopping, I have to show you something that's gonna absolutely blow your mind. It's gonna be so cool. So stay tuned for that. I got Papa and Mama Bear here. Say hi. So if you see them in the background, they're shopping with me. They came down from Idaho to visit and help me out. So this is what I've decided to go with. It's $350 and it has this griddle in the center. I thought that would be fun for somebody to have. It looks really good condition. Because I have appliances that I can turn in, they're gonna give me a year warranty on it. So I felt good about that. $350, it looks almost new. They're working on a dishwasher that I think might work, but I didn't buy that yet. And they do not have a microwave for me, so. Okay, so if you have can lighting that is old and dated and has the light bulbs that screw in, and you wanted to switch those out, but you don't want to hire an electrician to do it, I am about to blow your mind. Because I don't know how I didn't know about this, but this is just mind-boggling and so awesome. I don't know if this is a new product or what. Now, my brother-in-law, who's an electrician, recommended one that was just a little bit more expensive than this. This one retails for $25 for 4, and the one that he recommends is $35 for 4. They were out of what he recommended, or I would have totally spent the extra $10. These ones are nice, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and proceed because they didn't have the other one. What this is a retrofit downlight, and this is what is going to replace your old dated can lights. And what is so cool about this is what it looks like. So it's nice and clean and contemporary. This will last 22 years if you use it for 6 hours a day. So if you use it for less, it could be more. If you use it for more, it will be slightly less. Either way, this is really awesome. So then you can decide what brightness or what kind of light you want. If you like warm white, soft light. I typically like the daylight, which is 5,000. Some people like the 4,000. So now I'm gonna show you how to install this. And by the way, I'll link these in the description box below, both the one I'm using and the one he recommends. I'll show you how it's done. So all we're gonna do is pop off the old trim kit. So you do this by pulling it down. Hopefully our light bulb is not too hot. It's a little hot. This is not one of those LED ones, so this is the old-fashioned light bulbs. You take that out. Then you take this and you screw it in literally like a light bulb, right where the other light bulb was. Just screw that in. It shouldn't be that hard, I just didn't line it up very good. It should take you 2 seconds. Then you're gonna have these wire things that are gonna act as braces, and you kind of pinch them in as you push it up. So then push it up in very carefully. Okay, and then you just make sure it's pressing where you want. Boom! And that's it. So it will literally take you less than 2 minutes, super easy, and we're gonna do the other one now. That's it, you guys. Seriously, if you've been waiting to change out your can light, stop waiting. Get the modern contemporary ones. It will save you money and look all nice and modern. It's so easy, you got this. Now let's turn it on. Actually, before we turn it on, while we're up here, should we get rid of this ugly decor that they left behind? I don't know why they didn't take it, because now I have to deal with it. Let's get all this stuff down. Well, maybe I'll use this basket to kind of line up some of these bottles. Clean up the edges of our ceiling where they just got paint all over the ceiling around the edges, and this is going to be such an ordeal. Wish I didn't have to do, but it's gonna look terrible if I don't. I am like 98% sure that the trim color and the ceiling color are the same and the same sheen. So I color matched my trim, and I am going to give it a try. I'm hoping it's an exact match. So we're gonna just pour some of this in a little cup. I've got my favorite brushes that I like to use. I don't have my favorite repaint tray, but we're making do. Let's see if we can do this without making a huge mess. Like I said, I don't care if I get paint on the floor here because this is going. So I don't need to be careful on this floor. Okay, so now we're gonna attempt to relocate all of this electrical here. I have decided rather than moving the switch for that over here underneath, we're gonna relocate it all into this wall, and we might have to do one separate, like have one here and then two there. We can either do a triple one, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I just don't know what it's gonna be like to get this box out. but that's kind of the direction I'm leaning. Now these are called old work boxes, and they're meant for not new construction, for existing construction. We're gonna also cut a bigger hole, which means more patchwork, but we're gonna have to be doing patchwork over here anyways. It's a very good idea to have one of these to test whether your electrical's on or not, and you just touch them all to make sure if any of them are hot, and none of them are, so it would go red if it was hot. Important safety notice. Okay. There we go. Okay, I've been working really hard, and the electrician is gonna come. I just decided to hire that out and have him wire it properly, and if he needs to damage the drywall, that's okay. I just want to make sure that that is situated solid and sound. I've done some electrical work. This was just made me a little uncomfortable. So, and you have to know what your limits are. You have to know when to hire it out and when you can DIY it. And this is one of those times where I'm going to hire it out, but there are some electrical projects that we've done and are going to do. Obviously our LED can lighting, that was such an easy electrical project, and then I'm going to be switching out all of our light switches to the rocker panel ones, so it just looks a little bit more modern and contemporary. So those ones are super easy for me to do. This one, it was just time to call in a professional, so he should be here any second. I don't know if he's going to be camera shy or not, so we'll just have to see.
There are a lot of voices drowning in the sea.
Yep, this was way beyond my skill set, everyone.
There are a lot of choices waiting to be made. Too many choices making me afraid. Dreams are not the same for me.
Very productive day, and it's late. I really need to get this patched because the mud takes a while to dry, and I'm gonna probably need to do multiple coats. So we are going to try to patch this, and then we also need to fix the drywall that he needed to cut out to do the electrical, so that we can get it all patched and ready for paint tomorrow. We need to get this, at least this area and the area where the countertops are going in, painted. That's my goal prior to them being installed, and I only have like tomorrow to do that. So we gotta get this done.
How I'm supposed to get through. The dreams are not the same for me. Standing by.
Okay, so that is our patch. Well, we haven't patched it yet, but this is our drywall. This is our corner bead, and this is kind of like a little tricky. And now we are gonna use some mud and tape to cover up the seams. We'll cover this really, really well. I'm a little worried about this. That's already textured, so hopefully I can make that look halfway decent, and I'm not worried about that. That should be fine too.
The shore, while you're the open sea, cannot take this anymore. Cannot take this anymore.
Okay, this looks pretty awful right now, probably because I don't have a really wide putty knife, but I promise it will look good in the end. So we're gonna let that dry overnight, and we'll address it in the morning. gonna be installed tomorrow. We've got the patch done. I'm just letting the texture spray dry a little bit more. But we're gonna go ahead and start painting out the kitchen so that it's nice and dry by tomorrow. I may still have to do some touch-up paint because things get dinged when they're doing an install, but everything here is pretty open. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time painting behind the stove and all of that because we're gonna be doing tile. I had considered about doing tile above here, but I'm pretty convinced that in a few years when my sons are gonna be coming here to college, I'm gonna probably add another row of cabinetry so that there's more cabinets. There's a severe lack of storage, and so that will be a nice thing that we can do later. So we will paint that. And so yeah, we're gonna paint. I'm gonna go ahead and start behind the fridge just so that I can slide that back as soon as possible to give us more access to the kitchen. So that's where we're gonna start. Today is the big day. We are getting our countertops. I'm so excited. They were able to turn it around so quickly. They were so professional. I was so impressed, and so I'm super excited to get countertops. They're here. Let's get it started. Next day, and today is the day that we need to finish the floors. I do have an appliance guy coming this afternoon. My goal is to have at least the kitchen done and available for him to do that in. So we're gonna just bust this out. By the way, getting gloves and knee pads, I should have known that going into it, but these are making all the difference in making this happen without pain. Use knee pads. Gloves are helpful too, especially when you're like pulling on the flooring. And also you need to make sure that your lines are perfect, because if you get off a little bit in one area, it kind of has a ripple effect down the line. There's been a couple of times where I've had to pull out a couple of rows and redo them because one of them got off, and maybe I just missed it, and it created like a ripple effect down the line. So just keep an eye on that as you go, and it will save yourself some work. So we are actually in the trickiest part of this whole job, which is rounding this corner and doing these angled ones. Other than we are gonna have to do some scoring and snapping on some of these longer ones. Having a jigsaw or a table saw would have been really helpful. Like at home, I have a table saw, a jigsaw, circular saw. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna put on some music, I'm gonna jam while we do this, and let's finish the floors. new appliances. Woohoo! Well, this project has turned out to be, no surprise here, a lot more than I expected, but we're getting to the end and I'm thrilled with the results. I can't believe what we've done in this kitchen in such a short amount of time. So I kind of went back and forth on what kind of tile to do. I thought about doing white, but I thought that would be too high contrast. I didn't really want to do that. I also wanted to make it slightly more masculine, so I tried out some green tile, and that was too green. It looked great with the cabinets. Didn't look super great with the countertops because there is like a subtle hue of green, but it's more of kind of like a olivey green, and the tile that I had was more of like an emeraldy type green, so that just didn't work. So I went on and I actually found something on Floor & Decor, which my daughter then went and picked up. It's gonna look really gray, and it is, but there is like some olivey green undertones with it. And it also has some of the rust colors that are in the countertop. It was a little bit more expensive, but since we were doing such a small area, it didn't feel too expensive because we're literally doing from here to here. And then I did get enough to wrap it around here. To make this faster, I am going to use Muscle Bound. This stuff is really good. It just peels and sticks onto the wall, and once you have it up, you can immediately grout. Well, it is more expensive than using like a thin set or a mortar, but in our case, this is what we need to do. I'm gonna also put up as many without cutting anything first, because I'm gonna need to rent like a tile saw, and I want to just rent that for a short amount of time and then like bust through all the cuts. We're just gonna see what happens, and we're gonna start by getting this up on the wall. You guys, I have bruises and cuts everywhere. Well, obviously I've got that little thing. I'm exhausted and I'm ready for this to be over, but I am looking around and seeing like all of the results, and even in like my exhaustion, I'm so proud of what we've done. Okay, we are gonna get this lined up with the edge of the countertop. Make sure it's kind of even with the countertop. Okay, and we've already got an outlet to contend with, so we will just do kind of like a crisscross applesauce situation. And I may need to actually unscrew these outlets because I've accidentally tiled over like how to unscrew them in the past. So this is my drill. It's the Athena drill by Aaliyah. Aaliyah is my company, and Athena is the name of the drill. So we'll just unscrew this carefully. Okay, before we put it over, we learned our lesson from the last one. We gotta loosen it up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna start laying tile. And so what we're gonna do is peel back just a little bit. There we go. We've got that peeled back a little bit. We'll leave that covered right there. We're gonna start with a whole tile, and we are gonna do a brick pattern. I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, and so I just like that. Stacked would be good too, but I just like what I like. I don't know. So we're gonna start with a whole one, and we'll start it on this bottom here. I just wanna be very lifted up just ever so slightly. So we're gonna place those, and we're gonna do one full tile. We're gonna line it up with the edge, and then we're gonna press in firmly. Okay, so that's our first one. And now we're gonna use some, this is the only spacers that they had at I. They're a little thicker than I would have probably gone, and I'm hesitant to use them. I might just use my quarters since it's sticky. Okay, so now we've got this started. Now we're gonna mark where halfway point is. Permanent marker, because it should be able to come off pretty easy. Okay, we'll take another one of our tiles and line that up and press. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to lay as many of these as possible without making cuts like I told you, and using the quarters as our spacers. We'll only need a couple since it's peel and stick. I think it's time to start cutting a whole bunch of tile. We are going to use the wet saw, and we need to protect our eyes and our nose. So it's a lot like using a table saw, except for wet and messier. Keep your hands away from the blades. Just be very calm and collected. This is totally doable, but you will get messy. By the way, these are my cute Aaliyah glasses. You can get these on my website. All right, let's go. My time here is almost done. I actually get on a flight today in just a few hours, but we still have some projects to complete. One of which is finishing up this backsplash. I need to grout it, and we need to bust it out really fast because there's other things that I need to do. I got pre-mixed grout right here, and we are going to use that right now, but I'm just realizing I should probably put something to protect the granite, and I'm also going to need to pull out my stove, but I'm not going to be able to pull it out all the way because it's connected to the gas, and I just don't want to deal with that. So we're going to just have to create a little space for me to sneak in behind there, and yeah, we're going to bust this out. I am ready to go home, let me tell you. So let's do this. Also, I'm thinking we should turn this light on. That will help me see a little bit better. I have some cut off of this. I want to protect the countertops a little because I just don't want to have to do a ton of cleanup. So this was cut off from my tile project because it was just a little bit. So we'll use some of this to protect our countertops while we're grouting. It will get wet, so this is mainly to catch the grout as it drops. Sometimes the grout drops when you're pushing it in. Okay, time to grout. Now this is not like a super nice float. This is the cheapest one I could find. I'm gonna toss it when I'm done. I only needed it to do a couple jobs and it's done it. And then I'm going to get rid of it. All right, I hope I like this color. Okay, you wanna push this in at a 45-degree angle. Ooh. I'm already glad that I put that down because I just dropped it immediately. Okay, yeah, listen to me, I know what I'm doing as I drop the crowd. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think I'm a super fan of this grout. It's dry and crumbly, which I don't like. And it's drying super fast, which I also don't like. I mean, you want it to dry kind of fast, but like, I'm worried if I don't rinse this off right now that it's gonna stay on, and that's a problem. We're just gonna keep going along. So kind of a safety thing that I'm doing, I got this, and this is a carbon monoxide detector, and since we have a gas stove, I thought that would be a good idea to have. We are done with the kitchen. I made it just in time. We barely made it out in time. I'm not even kidding when I say I was sprinting to catch my flight home, but somehow, miraculously, we pulled it off, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with how the kitchen turned out. It's bright, it's elevated, and it finally feels like it belongs in that space. But even with the makeover finish, there's still a lot to unpack. In the next episode, I'll be breaking down what everything actually cost, what I would do differently next time, answering some of your questions, and well, let's just say there was a moment where we thought it all might have been for nothing. Yep, nature had other plans, and we'll get into that too. So stay tuned because this story isn't quite over yet. If you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And to all of you, just a reminder that you are powerful. We'll see you next time. Bye.